I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Our first order of business is the approval of the minutes of July 3rd.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those minutes are approved. Treasurer's report. Treasurer Griffin.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Following bills were presented to the treasurer's office. Accounts payable in the amount of $1,223,530.34. Payroll for the period was $360,703.31. 911 account had 10 checks and 3 EFTs totaling $18,983.30. LEP had 2 checks for $338.41. And finally, Act 37 account had 1 check in the amount of $3,500.
Thank you. Is there a motion to pay the bills?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Bills are paid. Continue, please.
The treasurer's report for the period starting 7/2 and running through and including 7/15/2025. We had a general account starting balance of $966,918.84. Total debits for the period were $1,454,936.32, giving us an ending balance for the period of $837,127.38. And finally, capital reserve account had a ending balance of $14,456,645.80.
If there are no questions, or is there a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Meetings and events. The list I gave to the chief clerk for inclusion in the minutes. I do want to point out that the commissioners had met with their architect and agreed to talk about phase 2 of the Mifflin County Library project that will be getting underway in the fall. And also we met on the kickoff for the phase 1 of the historic courthouse project, which is now underway. And everything else I gave to the chief clerk. Commissioner Wise.
Chief Clerk has my meetings and events.
Thank you. And Commissioner Coach.
Chief Clerk has mine as well, and I'd like to welcome Mackenzie Peachy and Sierra Williams from MCTV here today. Thank you for filming.
Okay, thank you. Next is public comment. Is there any public comment from the public? See any hands raised? So we'll just continue then to new business. First new business is a proclamation honoring senior community centers. Commissioner Coach.
Thank you. It's the proclamation of the Commission honoring senior community centers. Whereas senior community centers serve as vital community hubs that provide essential services, programs, and support to older adults, enhancing their quality of life and enabling them to age with dignity and independence. And whereas these centers promote health and wellness, offer opportunities for lifelong learning, social engagement, volunteerism, and recreation, and serve as gateways to valuable resources and assistance. And whereas the dedicated staff and volunteers of senior community centers work tirelessly to create welcoming environments that foster inclusion, purpose, and community spirit for our elder population. And whereas senior community centers play a crucial role in combating social isolation and ensuring the emotional and mental well-being of our seniors, especially during times of crisis or transition. And whereas we recognize and celebrate the many contributions of senior citizens to our communities and honor the spaces that support and uplift them each day. And whereas the staff of Mifflin Juniata Regional Services and its affiliates, the Area Agency on Aging and Colorado Services, bring invaluable experience, unwavering dedication, and a deep well of institutional knowledge and guidance that enriches the operation of our local senior community centers. Now therefore, on the 17th day of July, 2025, Mifflin County Commissioners do hereby proclaim July 21-27 as Senior Community Center Appreciation Week and encourage all citizens to visit, support, and celebrate their local senior centers and the remarkable individuals they serve. and witness swear thereof, will you have hereunto set our hands and cause the official seal of Mifflin County to be affixed this 17th day of July, 2025. Mifflin County Commissioners, Postal, Codish, and Wise. I make a motion to approve this proclamation.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That proclamation is approved. Is there anybody that would like to say anything? State your name so everybody knows.
I'm Beth Harlan, Senior Community Supervisor over the Senior Centers.
I'm Jennifer Feathers, I'm the Lewistown Senior Center Manager.
I'm Chelsea Reed, I'm the Area Agency on Aging Director.
Deborah Lentz, Milroy Senior Center.
Samantha Slaughterback, Executive Director. Morning, Commissioners, and thank you for such a wonderful recognition. Again, my name is Samantha Slaughterback. I'm the Executive Director of Mifflin Juniata Regional Services Corporation. And on behalf of our organization, I want to sincerely thank you for honoring our senior community centers and recognizing the vital role that we play in the lives of older adults. This proclamation is not just a recognition of our organization, it's a celebration of our seniors, our staff, our volunteers, and our community partners. Every day we work to create a welcoming, supportive space where older adults can connect, stay active, learn, and thrive. We know that aging well takes more than just healthcare. It takes connection, compassion, and community, and that's what we strive to provide every day. So again, thank you for standing with us in this mission. We're deeply grateful for your support, and we're proud to continue to serve our community. And I'm gonna have Beth come over and just take a minute to talk about our senior centers and what all we do there. Thank you. Again, I'm Beth Harlan, Senior Community Supervisor over the senior centers. We have two centers in Mifflin County, Lewistown and Milroy. I want to thank Jen and Deb for the great job that they do as center managers there. We have two in Juniata County, and that is Four Seasons and McAllisterville. And I want to thank Jody and Carrie, the center managers there. Every month they do a wonderful program calendar for members 60 plus, and that involves all kinds of activities. Lewistown's known for their bingo. Milroy, they love their bingo there. They play games, exercise classes. We have health and wellness, evidence-based programming. So every month we do a calendar. We welcome everybody in the community. We have entertainment. We serve lunch there every day at 11:30. We just ask for a $1 donation. So yeah, our senior centers are definitely booming. We do a lot. We've been running the Centers in Motion program through our senior centers. So yeah, everything is trucking along. We have populated well in Lewistown and the Milroy Senior Center. And I want to again thank you. It means a lot to me as the supervisor to run this program with these wonderful ladies, and I appreciate what all you do. Thank you.
What are your hours?
Our hours are usually like 8:30 to 2:30 area. Now Lewistown's open until 3, but usually people come around 9 o'clock in the morning. Cars will drop them off, and then they'll stay.
That's what I was just gonna ask.
Yeah.
Transportation.
Cars as transportation to every one of them, and they usually drop off around 9 o'clock, and they like to eat and get out of there. So it's usually 12:45, or so, 1 o'clock, and they're gone for the day. So if they can play bingo for 2 hours, eat and leave, they're doing great. But yeah, like I said, Deb usually leaves around 2:30, Jen leaves around 3:30, but in the afternoons it kind of mellows out. Yes. But yeah, we want to thank cars too, because a lot of members rely on cars. So, but yeah.
Okay. Anything else for the group? We'd like a photo outside the lobby.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes.
Oh.
No, you.
Okay, thank you for that. Next, we have 911 Supervisor Josh Pennick. Josh, do you want to come and explain to us what the recertification is that we've now received?
So the recertification is from FEMA. They have a list of, I'll say, requirements that everybody is supposed to, all the 911 centers in the state are supposed to meet for training and quality assurance. They come around every 2 years and recertify each 911 center. They did that in June. They picked 3 people for training and then 3 people for quality assurance, looked at their files. Everything was in the files. We are compliant and either meet or exceed their requirements.
Good, thank you. I just want to read a short sentence here. This happens every 2 years, is it? Okay, so recertification is 2 years. And it says, Mifflin County is commended for its commitment to training and certification program and provided a quality level of 911 service. So congratulations to you. I just wanted to point that out to the public, to everybody about the good work that the 911 center does. I'm sure it's like 95% quiet, 5% chaos.
Yeah, the other way around.
Okay, next we have the exoneration of 2025 county portion of the per capita taxes from Brandon Township. Brandon Township has no levy.
So moved.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Point of information, when we do exonerate these taxes, there are categories for exoneration. Brandon Township, for example, is exonerating people that are moved from the county, are deceased, entered military service, or entered a nursing home. Okay, thank you. Next we have the 3-year agreement with Berkshire Systems, Reading for the fire alarm, sprinkler tests, and inspection. This involves the annex, the courthouse, the library, and the historic courthouse. This is a 3-year agreement. Mr. Griffith was going to be here to present this, but he has been called to a contractors meeting at the historic courthouse, and he is recommending that we approve this. It's an increase of 5% a year for 3 years, 5% per year for 3 years. We believe it is reasonable. Is there a second? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Okay, we have an intergovernmental agreement with Pennsylvania State Police to connect to the 911 service. Emergency Management Director Phil Lucas will explain this to us.
This is an agreement that will allow Mifflin County 911 to join into the state police radio network. It allows us to have direct communications with the local barracks and surrounding barracks when needed. Obviously, this will provide better interoperability, better visibility of incidents that are going on within the county and between our local law enforcement agencies and the state police. And this was recognized as one of the priority projects following the shootings of the troopers in Union County 2 years ago.
Okay, do we have this now? This type of agreement now?
We do not.
Okay, so this is new. Thank you.
Yeah, this is mainly fleshing out who's allowed to talk on what channel when and what we're allowed to do with those communications. It's just formalizing much of the requirements at the state level for what we already do with the state police. We already provide the state police, DCNR, several other local and federal agencies access to our radio network. But in order for the state to give us access to theirs, they have to formalize a lot more of those requirements. But we recognized very early on, back in 2011, when we did our most recent upgrade of our radio network, that we wanted to ensure any law enforcement officer within the county would have awareness and would be able to communicate with each other using our radio system.
Do you have to upgrade the network for this to happen?
Do we have to
Upgrade the whole system?
We do not have to do a system-wide upgrade. We will have to do some programming and there's some hardware that we'll have to, the state police will provide a connection to a central point, And from that central point, we'll have to connect into it and then do some hardware within, but it's not an overall network. Our network is actually more robust than the state police's network. And as part of that, I believe Huntington and Juniata will be co-locating at the same location for the same tower, just because we're moving forward. It just makes sense that all three counties utilize the same location, save the cost of doing that. We each bear our own cost, but like I said, it's the cost of routers and programming, basically.
Okay. Anything else from Mr. Williams?
Before I make the motion, I want to go off topic on this a little bit. There was a statewide blip last week in the 911 system. Can you give us a English version of what happened?
Over the last several years, Pennsylvania has moved from a legacy system where 911 callers would make a call through their carrier, and the carrier would send a call directly to each county in 67 different ways. Just this spring, the state completed a migration to what's called Next Gen 911. And that allows us to use GPS and voice over IP systems integrated in the system much easier. And that migration entailed, instead of the carriers sending the calls to the counties directly, all the carriers would send their data, ones and zeros, through the state system and then onto the counties. So there'd be better redundancy, better fail-safe if there would be a failure. But unfortunately, what they discovered was some of the hardware they use for firewalls to protect the system recognized a conflict that they thought was being attacked from the outside. And that conflict made all of those redundant systems talk to each other and fight, basically saying, we don't want to allow this traffic to pass through. And that entailed the system going down statewide. So actually, Josh and I had a phone call with the state yesterday afternoon. They recognized that they needed to include plans that if the state system would ever be attacked or failed, that they would have a system in place to redirect the calls before it hits the state system. And they've actually begun that data gathering, and they expect to have that implemented August 1st, that if this type of incident would occur again, they would theoretically be able to throw a switch in the computer world and say, the state system is down, we'll take the traffic each carrier is sending us and send it directly to the 911 system. We lose information, but we'll get the phone calls directly, and it wouldn't entail having to go through the system of trying to figure out why it's not passing through the state network.
So I'll go back to the way it was.
Yeah. But again, there's intricacies about data, information, and things like that. But and we still have a lot of redundancies built in, even while the system is down. Josh and the staff in the 911 center were getting notified a call was coming, and they would recognize it wasn't connected. We have separate systems that give us extra information, and that when that information came through, our 911 dispatchers were able to reach out to a caller that never got connected to us and find out what their emergency was. We know where they were, we would know what their number was, we'd be able to call them. So while, I think, if you remember, it's like 70,000 calls in that 8-hour period. Yeah, there are around 70,000 calls in that 8-hour period. Of those 70,000 calls, around 6,800 never made it to a 911 center. So it's almost 10% of the calls were not completed or they were disconnected. So we're, across the state, we're able to, using all of our ancillary systems, reach back out to those callers to make sure that that they were their issues were addressed. So it's moving forward. We're expecting another report to come out middle of the month, next month, that formalizes all of the findings. Again, a lot of it was computer guru kind of stuff, but the big take back from that is They recognize they need to have a way to send calls to the 911 centers in a legacy network, just in case the technology fails.
Well, if everybody figures that out, all we want to know is when you hit 911, someone comes.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve that original FEMA statement.
Right. Second.
Okay. Motion made for the intergovernmental agreement, and second, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, Phil. Yep. Next, we have a number of actions for the West Railroad Bridge project in Brown Township, and Planning Director Jim Latier will take us through the list.
Yes, good morning. The first item for your consideration and action are these time extensions made by the Eads Group requesting extending time periods for parts 1, 2, and 5 of an initial agreement the county entered into with PennDOT. This project is the replacement of that West Railroad Bridge in Brown Township. It's a partnership between PennDOT, the Federal Highway Administration, Mifflin County Commissioners, and the Township Supervisors. So these extensions are being requested from, the deadline is August 31st, 2025. They want to extend it to December 31st of 2025, and the reasons for the extension requests are to obtain waterway permits from DEP, obtain necessary utility clearances, transferring substitute right-of-way acquired by the township to UGI, the utility company, and to finalize the sedimentation and control details.
Okay. Jim, there are three separate extensions. Do you want to take them individually, or should we take them as a group?
I think you could take them and take them.
Okay, we'll take them together then. So the first action is request for time extensions in each group for the West Railroad Bridge replacement in Brown Township. As explained by Jim, there are three. Extension goes from August 31st, to December 31st, 2025. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those extensions are approved. We continue with resolution number 4.
Resolution 4 of 2025 authorizes the execution of an agreement amendment with PennDOT and the county for the replacement of this bridge over the Kishiquos Creek in Brown Township. And then I will elaborate more on the amendments. One thing I did notice, Kathy, is I think we'll need to change the date in the resolution on the bottom from June 19th. That's what I have to today's date.
I can
Appreciate that. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, resolution number 4 of 2025. Any questions? Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Continue to H.
Letter of amendment number 5. This is the 5th letter of amendment to this agreement due to increased costs of the project and time extensions to allow more time for them to complete those items I previously mentioned. Specifically, this amendment increases the cost for final design from $250,000 to $265,000, an increase in utilities from $450,000 to $572,000 due to the UGI gas line relocation, and the acquisition of right-of-way for the project from $150,000 to $196,000. An actual construction increase from $2,200,000 to $3,250,000 due to relocating the bridge 500 feet upstream. Overall cost increase of $1,233,000, which 80% will be paid by PennDOT and FHA, while the 20% will be paid by the township, which is $246,600. So the total project at this point stands at $4,871,000 to replace the bridge.
Thank you for that explanation. Is there any questions? Are there any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve the letter of amendment number 5?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Continue to the utility relocation reimbursement agreement.
This is between the county and UGI Utilities to relocate the natural gas line and the fittings and so forth, which has been approved by the township, estimated at a cost of $757,570. The area of relocating the line within the public right-of-way is approximately 26%, while 74% is located outside the public right-of-way. The township is responsible for paying $560,829, while the remainder will be paid by FHA and PennDOT. Just want to clarify, the county is not responsible for any payment of this, with this agreement.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Any questions for Jim? Is there a motion?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you for getting us. Next on the agenda is Human Services Fund. Melissa Stewart, explain the list to us, please.
Good morning.
Morning.
So the HSDF, Human Services Development Fund, is a state minimum that we receive through the Human Services Block Grant every year. The amounts are based off of a request for proposal process that the agencies go through, and then we have a board that votes on, that reviews the proposals, and then we vote on amounts received to each agency. And that is what was determined by the board.
Melissa, is that, its total is $50,000.
Correct.
Is that by formula?
It's state minimum. So there's a formula, but then there's certain counties that just get the state minimum, and Mifflin and Juniata County get the state minimum.
Okay. Why do we get the minimum?
I'm unsure, probably population would be my guess, but I'm not 100% on that.
Wondering what the formula is.
Um,
Okay, so the list, the funds going to Shelter Services, the Abuse Network, Clear Concepts Counseling, and the Mifflin Juniata Human Services Department for administration and coordination. Total is $50,000.
Yes.
Questions for Melissa? Okay, is there a motion to approve the allocation of the Human Services Development Fund?
Motion. Second.
Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Continue to the grant agreement for the Homeless Assistance Program.
So the homeless assistance program is other additional funds that we receive through the Human Services Block Grant each year. For the first time last year, we did receive a 27% increase. So that is reflected. They told us that we would be receiving that again this year. So last year we had voted when we got the increase to just do the 27% across the board. So we're going to do the same again this year. And you can see the list as follows as far as who would be receiving that. Obviously, Shelter Services and the Abuse Network use that money for those staying in their shelters. Our office uses that for rental and utility assistance for those who are facing homelessness within 14 days, category 2 homeless.
Okay, so on the list, which totals $33,831. Shelter Services actually gets about a third of that. Abuse Network, and the rest goes to the Mifflin Juniata Human Services Department for its programs.
Yep.
Questions for Melissa? All right, is there a motion to approve the grant agreements for the Homeless Assistance Program?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Melissa. Okay, next we have an amendment number 1 for the CEDACOG Professional Administrative Services Agreement. I need, again, to, not for this one, okay. This is during our general meeting.
Yes, thank you. So, my name is Carol Carney. I'm a program coordinator with CEDACOG. My focus is on community development block grant funding for Mifflin County. Item L, amendment number 1 to the City Council, the CEDACOG Professional Administrative Services Agreement. This is the budget modification for fiscal year 22 that was approved in the spring. The change is an additional $200 in delivery charges because we went from a demolition project to now doing a construction project. The curb cuts and ramps for, a section of South Main Street in Milroy.
Okay, so there's a slight increase of, say, $200, let's see.
Yes.
And this is for the project in Milroy, South Main Street, ramps and curb cuts.
Yes, the $200 is because we now have labor standards, because of the construction involved.
Anything else for Carol or Madison? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that is approved. Now we'll recess this public meeting and convene a CDBG public hearing,
Yes.
and you can continue that.
Thank you, Commissioner. So this public hearing is to consider a budget modification proposed for, fiscal year 2022, the entitlement grant for, Mifflin County. The, line item that we propose to, reallocate is for the Juniata Terrace Borough Water Main Replacement Project. The county received a competitive contract to fund that project, and this entitlement line was to supplement the competitive contract funding. After the bidding was completed, it was clear that we do not need this extra line item to fund the water main replacement project. So we're proposing to move the entire budget line, which is $167,382 from the water main replacement to a new project, Juniata Terrace Borough Fire Hydrant System Improvements. The labor for that will be done by the Mifflin County Municipal Authority, the force account. It will subsequently be presenting you with that force account certification at a future meeting. So because the fire hydrant system improvements project is a new project for the CDBG funding, that's why we have a public hearing to, it was also publicized in the Sentinel and online, just to make sure the public's aware that we're moving the funding, and we open this up to any comments, questions about either the water main replacement project or the new fire hydrant system upgrade.
And there's no increase in cost, we're just changing the line item.
Exactly.
$167,382 is being moved from one line item to another.
Yes, the fire hydrant system will be create a new line item. So,
Questions? I'm not seeing any.
okay, and just, I'll be asking for a copy of the sign-in sheet so that we can include this with the public hearing announcement. If there are no comments, we can close the public hearing portion.
Okay, do I need a motion to approve this?
Yeah, that,
Okay. All right, if there are no comments, then we will adjourn the public hearing and reconvene the general meeting of the commissioners.
yes, so item N, on the agenda would be to, certify this new project, the fire hydrant, system improvement, and, approve the budget request. We'll send the paperwork to DCED now.
Okay, so the explanation and any other questions? All right, is there a motion to approve the budget modification request?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that is approved. Next, you could continue, this is the language access plan for the Mifflin County Housing
Yes.
Program.
Thank you. Item one, language access plan, every year, so there are certain, master files that, the county keeps and CDCOG keeps for the CDBG program. Some of those master files are in place for, a few years, and a few of them need to be updated every year. So the language access plan is one that we update every year. The language access plan assures that any residents of Mifflin County who have limited proficiency in English can request translations of documents, translations of meetings. So there are two townships in Mifflin County, Union and Minnow, that have a significant West Germanic speaking population. So that is why we have the language access plan for Mifflin County for CDBG.
This is because they're plain people, neighbors.
Yes.
Interesting. Any questions? Okay, if not, then is there a motion to approve the language access plan, specifically for Menno and Union Township?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a resolution number 5, appointing Madison Price as the coordinator. Or did I just do no, I didn't do that. Now we have to appoint her as.
Yes, so we just updated the language access plan. If there were any language access needs, the people can contact me at CEDACOG, but the CDBG requires that the grantee with the county has a person who's tasked with responding to those requests and making sure that they're taken care of. So we're proposing that Madison Price, grant liaison for Mifflin County, be appointed to as the language access coordinator.
She doesn't have to learn German.
She does not. She just needs to connect with the translators.
Heard that explanation. Is there a motion?
I have a question.
Yes.
We approved it for 2 townships, the land access plan. What about the Amish population in the other areas?
It's actually, so Minnow, and the reason I mentioned Minnow and Union, in the American Community Survey, the U.S. Census data, those townships have over 5% of the residents who speak it. But because Minnow and Union are not entitlement municipalities, it's the county's responsibility to provide the translations.
Okay, thank you.
What about Armagh?
Pardon?
What about Armagh Township? They,
It,
that's an entitlement community.
it is, but because Mifflin County is the grantee, that's why we want a single point of contact, so that basically anyone anywhere in Mifflin County, if they're having difficulty. And even though we're required to do this because of the population speaking West Germanic languages, if someone, for example, spoke Spanish as a first language, they could also request a translation of the documents.
Okay. Anything else for Carol? Is there a motion to appoint Madison Price as the language access coordinator?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Right, so item Q, CDBG home procurement, program procurement policy. As I mentioned with the language access plan, some of our master files that we keep for the CDBG program, ultimately for the Department of Housing and Urban Development, require updating annually. So this is an updated procurement policy for CDBG purposes and also for the home program, which is not CDBG but is similar in some cases to for rehabilitation. We use the same program procurement policy.
Okay, questions for Carol? Not, is there a motion to approve? So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for getting us through that list.
Thank you.
Next, we have a purchase service agreements for use. Nicole will explain this to us.
So the first one is for 24-25 for Children's Home of Reading Youth and Family Services in Reading, Pennsylvania. They provide behavioral health services to dependent and delinquent youth through the Safeguards Foster Care Program. Their lowest rate is $116.01 per day, and their highest rate is $229.71 per day.
And this is for the period past.
Yes.
So we could submit this for reimbursement.
Correct.
Okay, questions from Nicole?
Do we anticipate using them in the future?
So we currently just have one child who had been in the Children's Home of Reading residential program that's paid for by medical assistance, and we exhausted other foster care programs, and this was the only one that we could find a place for that child. So I don't anticipating at this time using it for anybody but that child.
Any other questions for Nicole? Not if there a motion to approve purchase service agreement. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Continue for the period July 1 to June 30th, 2026.
So the first one is for Bethesda Lutheran Services in Meadville, PA. They provide dependent and delinquent children with access to behavioral health through both residential and foster care. Their lowest rate is $68.11 per day, and the highest is $530 per day. The next one is for Justin Miller, an attorney out of Bellefonte, Pennsylvania. He provides guardian ad litem services in dependency cases at $85 per hour. And then Raystown Developmental Services, now known as Claravia, out of Huntington, Pennsylvania, provides reunification and preservation programs, as well as truancy intervention parenting program, truancy elimination plans, and family support conferences to families in Mifflin County. Their lowest rate is $82.40 per hour, and the highest is $102 per hour.
Okay, any questions for CYS?
That Raystown, when it was named that, was that in Mifflin County?
Yes, they have an office and a program that is located in Mifflin County too. It's just their main office is out of Huntington.
Okay.
I noticed the name change, is that an ownership change, do you know?
I'm not sure that the ownership changed it, but it's a corporate company, so corporate is who changed the name to Claravia.
Any questions from Nicole? Okay, if not, is there a motion to approve the purchase of service agreements for these three entities? Second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Nicole. Next, we have the 2025 liquid fuels distribution. This totals $62,547, and it is broken down by municipality. I won't read the whole list. The municipalities will be getting a letter with their allocation shortly, probably today or tomorrow. Total is, again, 62,000. The county is allocating $62,547 to its municipalities through liquid fuels. Any questions? This is done by formula, by the way. Any questions? All those in favor? Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And we have last domestic relations title 4D. This is a cooperative agreement with our domestic relations department and the state. It is a 5-year agreement. It is a renewal of a 5-year agreement. It's not necessary for our director to be here. This is again a renewal of the agreement that we already have. Any questions? A motion to approve.
Motion. Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, the cooperative agreement is approved. We have no personnel items. Our agenda is completed, and the meeting is adjourned.